At this time, we have a public hearing on the
It's a long time.
2024-2025 Alvin ISD budget. So Dr. Combs, if you would, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you, President Humber, trustees, community members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you about our lengthy budgeting process from this past year. And so we have a presentation that we would like to share with you, giving you some insight into the overall process that we go through in Alvin ISD. And so working with the board and at the direction of the board, you can see a number of the priorities that are incorporated into our overall budgeting process. Certainly, the goal is to focus on the needs of students currently and the needs of our students in district into the future as we pursue the vision of each student every day in Alvin ISD. You'll see that there are a number of other considerations that we looked at in detail with the board as we work through the process. Certainly want to take a look at where are we financially, what's our financial health look like, how do others rate and review us from a financial perspective, and then also look at priorities that we're working to achieve. So community, if you're wondering what the financial health of your school district looks like, we can say that we are in a very healthy position. The state of Texas has given us a superior rating, which is the top rating that a school district can receive for financial management. So kudos to the board, Superintendent Nelson, for those accolades. We appreciate that. Yes, thank you very much. That is outstanding news for the district and the community. We've continued to receive clean and unmodified audits from our outside external auditors. And then we also receive some accolades from outside organizations that are very prestigious and highlight the level of transparency here in the district. A couple years back, only about 25 districts in the state of Texas received the Meritorious Budget Award. And if you go to our website, you can see a budget book that has 300 to 400 pages of incredible detail about our overall budget and process and transparency. And so we serve the community. We want you to have information about your school district, especially from the financial perspective. We have that out there available for you, as well as the recognition for excellence in financial reporting. And so we are in a good position from a financial standpoint as we build a new budget. We look historically, and so you can see this was the budget that we lived through this past year. And there's a couple of areas that we pay particular attention to. We're a school district. We're focused on supporting students and teachers in the classroom. That's our priority. And so does our budget align to those priorities? And you can see here that 61.2% of our budget last year went directly to the classroom. And when you look at the state average is 57.19%. And so we are sizably above the state. Another area that we continually look at is what's our administrative expenditure. A lot of people are sensitive to that and wanting to make sure that our administrative costs are not too high. So the state average is 3.86% of school district budgets on average go to administrative costs. In Alvin ISD, 2.2%. So we're at a very good place from that standpoint. We can also look at this data in a comparative way. So looking at our neighbors and our surrounding districts, you can see how do we stack up? Well, from an instructional standpoint, we are at the top where we spend the second most in the regional area in classroom expenditures, supporting teachers and students. And then and that doesn't include other areas that we prioritize, like extracurriculars and those kind of things, which the board has placed a priority on. And then when you look at our administrative cost expenditures, this is a really insightful slide. We are absolutely the lowest for our neighboring districts in relation to what is spent on overall administration of the district. So a pretty powerful slide right there. As we were working through this challenging budget year, many of you have seen headlines that budgeting and funding for school districts in the state of Texas is a little bit challenging, particularly following this last legislative session. And so there was significant billions of dollars appropriated for public education that did not flow because they were held up legislatively. And so for us, we're dealing with a challenging environment while we're continuing per the board's direction to focus and support the classroom and not have any cuts or take away from instructional expenditure supporting the classroom. But we also are opening 2 brand new schools and adding a fourth grade to Iowa Colony High School. Those are extremely costly endeavors. Building the budgets for those is one of the costliest things that a school district goes through. 85% of our budget is for personnel, for teachers and staff to open a new campus. And until those are full from an enrollment standpoint, they don't necessarily generate the revenue to offset the expenditures. And so that was a big priority through this budgeting cycle, even in tough budgetary times. And so there's a number of variables that contribute to what our overall revenue will look like. Certainly student enrollment and the program students participate in, that is the biggest driver. There's a lot of folks don't understand this. They think well, property taxes are going up. The school district must have a whole lot more revenue, more money to budget. The system doesn't work that way. The driver is how many students do you have? We're growing. What programs do they participate in? Those are growing as well. That is a big driver. And then the attendance of the students. The state then looks at our overall property values. And you can see a slide right here. At this point, we only have preliminary values. We won't have our actual certified values until July. So we're doing our best estimates and historical analysis to look at where we'll be. But as these values are finalized, what happens is the ratio of how much money comes from local tax collections versus how much comes from the state, that changes. But values going up, property values going up on commercial and residential, that does not increase revenue for Alvin ISD. It seems counterintuitive to the community, but that's really how the system works. So we monitor that carefully as well. Working in all those variables, we were able to propose to the board a estimated revenue of $366.6 million. You can see the increase over the prior year, and you can see some of the assumptions that were included in that. And then we had lengthy conversations about overall expenditures. Where are our priorities from a budgeting standpoint? And so we talked about that. We're opening 3 new campuses. And so you would see that, the board has seen that in quite a bit of detail, that is factored into our budget for next year. Also, a cost of living adjustment for staff. That has been a priority for many years, making sure that we recruit and retain the absolute best teachers and staff because they make such a big difference for our students in the classroom. And so that was a priority. And then you see some other additions from an additional budget allocation and some capital improvements, but those are reduced from where we sit normally at this time of year because it's a challenging budget time. But we prioritize taking care of the classroom, we prioritize taking care of staff, and then working with the board, we will address additional priorities through the year. That's our recommendation. But we did have to include some dollars for things like energy increases, electrical increases, which you can imagine they've probably gone up at your homes, and certainly when you have as many facilities as we do, we're experiencing those challenges as well. And so where does that leave us? You can actually see that our percent dedicated to instruction increased. So we were already high in that area, but we have a budget that actually increased by more than a percentage point based on what's being recommended for board consideration tonight. Certainly a point of pride in Alvin ISD. And it's summarized in the budget that you see here, the $366.6 million. That's our overall operational budget that we've been talking about. Likewise, interest and sinking, how do we pay for bonds, which are used to build schools to keep up with the fast growth that we've been experiencing. Wonderful news to report, both with the board and to the community, that we are nearing the end of the 2018 bond projects. And we lived through a really challenging time, as many of our residents did as well, but inflation hit the construction industry in a really hard way. And we were building a number of schools that you see up there. Thankfully, based on the timing when we had guaranteed maximum prices, we are actually able to come back to the board and the community and say all the projects from the 2018 bond will be completed on time, under budget, with a residual of $15 million that has not been sold, thereby not impacting the taxpayers and the tax rate at that time. So that is a wonderful point of pride for Alvin ISD. So what does that mean? Certainly, we have a payment based on the changes in the state legislature last year with the increase of the homestead exemption. The state is offsetting some of that, but boiling it down, we are in a position to continue the historical trend to recommend another decrease in our overall tax rate in Alvin ISD, which I think is a wonderful place to be. When the 2018 bond was passed, our tax rate was $1.45. The board passed a resolution that said if this bond is approved, we make the promise, the commitment, the tax rate will not go up from where it sits. And so this past year, we were at $1.1923, so more than a 25-cent reduction. That's coupled with management here and the same changes from the state, but we definitely were able to honor the commitment that the board made to the community. And likewise, continuing that. So the board is not presented with the opportunity to adopt a tax rate tonight. That won't be till September, but we are in a place to share that we anticipate bringing a tax rate recommendation of an additional 2-cent decrease for this next year to $1.17 to continue those decreases that we've seen year over year. Like I referenced, that would not be until we have the certified values in. Most people don't understand this. The state now actually takes the certified values we get from the appraisal district and they calculate the rate that the board is asked to adopt, and that comes from TEA. So a lot of our tax rate adoption is really a state function in that aspect because school finance is outlined in the rules and parameters in state statute, and so we'll get that tax rate from TEA, and then the board would be presented with the opportunity to adopt that in September. So largely that is a quick overview of an extremely lengthy process, building a budget for an organization that serves about 30,000 students. And we appreciate the board's diligence and the diligence of the team working through the process. And I open it up for any questions or comments.
As this being a public meeting, public presentation, y'all are more than welcome in the audience to ask questions. This is your time to ask questions about the budget. Overwhelming, isn't it?
I just want to comment, for the hard work from the finance team on putting together this budget. I just want to make sure the public knows and sees on the news the districts in our area that are cutting librarians. They are a $14 million shortfall in revenue, and we are not seeing any of that in Alvin ISD, and I'm very proud of that.
Cutting our tax rate.
Also, our budget will be published on our website. So at
It's
any
there
time,
currently.
you can go in and feel free to email us if you do, think, oh, I wish I would have asked that question. We'll be happy to answer.
That's right.
Thank you, Dr. Combs.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you so much.
All right, now, I call this meeting of the Alvin Independent School District to order. Let the record show that the quorum of board members is present and that this meeting has been duly called and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with Texas Open Meeting Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. At this time, if you would stand for the invocation, and then we'll do the pledges after that. Please bow your head. Heavenly Father, thank you for letting us come here together to do your work for this district. Lord, please guide us to do what's best for the students, the staff, and the community tonight. Lord, and as summer is here and school is out, please protect our students. Ride with them, ride with our staff, ride with our colleagues, Lord, and keep them safe. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On your Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank y'all. All right, let me get here. At this time, we're going to have a little special recognition. We have an outgoing trustee, Trustee Harris, and we want to honor her for her service and years of dedicated commitment to us. So if all the board will join me out front, Trustee Harris, if you'll come down to the front with us, please. Thank First of all, we're going to give you those flowers there. Second, we're going to give you your name tag. We want you to hang on to that just yet. Exactly. And we'd also like to present you with this plaque for outstanding years of service. And I just want to tell you, Cheryl, it's been a pleasure and honor working with you. Don't get me emotional. But an incredible 12 years. Thank you very, very much for what you've done.
Let's take a picture real quick.
Cheryl, the floor is yours.
Oh, well, thank you so much. So, I was thinking about this, and I thought it would be kind of fun to talk about I'll keep it real short, but I won't go off too much because Shelby tells me I can't talk. But I wanted to share my top 5 things that I'm so proud of accomplishing as a trustee. So the biggest thing that we're here for is student academic growth. And I want to thank our teachers and leadership for their commitment of academic progress for our students and recognizing that progress looks different for each child. And I so appreciate that, Whether it's a student with a significant disability that learns how to hold a cup to our advanced academic, here you can read it. It's always hurts.
What if I start crying?
Better you than me. You're reading. Do it. We'll pass it around. How does that sound?
Okay, let's
After the
see.
underline.
Oh, your font is small.
No, it isn't. It's big. I can't see.
Whether it's a student with a significant disability that learns how to hold a cup, to our advanced academic students achieving national merit accolades, progress is being made.
Yes.
I believe small group instruction and the opportunity we give our teachers to customize a lesson to best fit their class are critical to academic growth. Another piece of student growth is the creation of the J.B. Hensler CTE, which allows students to complete their academics and CTE coursework requirements, graduate with their high school with their diploma and the necessary licenses to immediately be a welder, a 911 operator, just to name a few. In recent years, our students have participated in signing day with industry leaders and entered the workforce with these companies with very competitive salaries. Kudos to the instructors and staff who made this happen. Not only do our students succeed in academics, they have the opportunity to express themselves in areas of interest such as the arts, dance, junior ROTC, and athletics. Our students excel in both the classroom and in competitions. I believe extracurriculars help the students develop, grow, and become leaders. I'm so proud that Alvin ISD takes student success a step further than other districts by uniquely recognizing students' needs and offer wraparound services that ensure each student has what they need to succeed, such as mental health counseling, student backpack meal programs, and the options program. All of this is possible because Alvin ISD recognizes that forming relationships with students to best understand how they learn and who they are. Number 2, should I pass it?
Sure.
Okay, all right. That was number 1.
You do it. You're good.
This part is short, y'all.
Okay, number 2, fiscally responsible. Many districts are having negative budgets because of the inadequate funding allotted for public education in Texas. Alvin ISD approved a balanced budget yet again. Proud that the district uses the TERS dollars to pay down the bond debt. Our bond projects have continually come in on time and under budget. Thank you, Dr. Combs.
Yes.
This is really hard to accomplish with inflation being out of control. The proposed 2024-2025 tax rate is the lowest rate since I joined the board in 2012. I'm very proud that Alvin ISD always allocates the most funds to student instruction. Number 3, perseverance in academics throughout COVID. As a community, we learned new phrases during COVID, and in education. My favorite is how to pivot from asynchronous to synchronous. While the governor closed schools, Alvin ISD did not miss a step. We were up and running with online learning very early in the COVID outbreak. Alvin ISD was a model for many ISDs throughout the state during this time because we did it well. Number 4, grow and develop our own leaders. I've always admired how Alvin ISD grows their own staff into leadership roles by offering our Aspiring Administrators Academy. By investing in this initiative, it allows us to retain talented individuals to become our future leaders. And number 5, Alvin ISD Police Department. In the late 1990s, the board recognized the need to move from a security department to a police department with licensed and commissioned officers. What is so unique about our police is these officers come to us with prior roles in law enforcement, such as DEA or FBI backgrounds, large city or county sheriff backgrounds. These experiences bring expertise to the department to handle any situation. We are proud to have these officers on our campuses who not only protect our students and staff each day, but they also form relationships with students, which helps identify when a student is struggling. Thank you, the finest school district police department in the state. You want to read the last?
Yes, okay. It has been a true privilege to serve as a trustee for 12 years, to serve alongside amazing superintendents and their staff and board members. Carol, you are an amazing leader, and your staff are simply the best. I thank you to the citizens who entrusted me with this responsibility, and I thank my family for their support. That's it.
Cheryl,
Cheryl, I will say, your leadership and your knowledge cannot be replaced, and you are going to be greatly, greatly missed.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Cheryl, will you introduce your family
I
that
would
came
love to. I would
this
love
evening
to.
real quick?
So, and also I want to let everybody know, we have so many Alvin ISD graduates within our family. My dad is class of 57, Gilbert Bubendorf. My mother came from the north, but she's not an Alvin ISD graduate, but she taught at Alvin Primary for how many years? 28 years. My husband, Mark, is a class of 82 graduate. Zach, Shelby's husband, went to Deer Park. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Collins. Shelby is a graduate of, when did you graduate? 2011, that's right. And Haley, who's not here, is graduate of 2012. Joy, my sister, is a graduate of 1987, and so is her husband, Eric. And my precious niece is a graduate of the class of 2017. Yes. So we have a lot of Alvin ISD graduates in our family, and thank you all so much for allowing me to serve.
Thank you, Cheryl. Don't forget your flowers.
This one? What? Okay. And it's slippery.
All right, as a legacy leaves the room, now we will administer oath to the newly elected trustees. Nelson?
Okay, so having complied with all legal and district requirements for certifying the recent election of trustees, it's now appropriate to administer the oath of office to newly elected trustees. First, we're going to start with the Honorable Judge Tony Wallace of Fort Bend County Court of Law 4. Will administer the oath of office to our newly elected Alvin ISD trustee, Danielle Sweeney, position 3. Danielle? That'd be great. Is your son here? I'm sorry, is your son here? Do they want to come up and stand with you? Come on.
Yes, they do.
There we go. Takes a team.
Yes.
All right, it is truly an honor. I told Danielle I wasn't going to say anything, but I know this woman to be a woman of God. And so I know that that is what she brings to this role, as to other roles, as a mother and wife. But I know her to be a woman of God, and I know that Alvin ISD is in very, very good hands with their newest trustee. So it is my honor and privilege to be able to swear her in. So if you will raise your right hand. In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, please repeat after me. I, Danielle Sweeney, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of Alvin ISD Trustee Position 3 of the state of Texas and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state. And I further solemnly swear that I have not directly paid, offered, or promised to pay, contributed, nor promised to contribute any money or valuable thing, or promised any public office or employment as a reward for the giving or withholding of vote at the election at which I was elected. So help me God.
Congratulations. So just a little bit, her husband is a police officer with Alvin ISD as well. So congratulations, husband. And her son plays football at Iowa Colony High School. So hey. And?
Her husband used to be my baby
Oh, there you go.
for 5 years.
So he left her.
He left.
Oh.
We miss him dearly.
So our win. Yes.
Newly
My
trustee,
loss is your gain.
There we go.
welcome to your seat.
Yes. Okay, so next up, we will have Judge Mike Merkel, the Honorable Judge Mike Merkel, administer the oath of office to Trustee Garza. Trustee Garza, do you have family you'd like to bring up, or wife at least? Who's a school teacher for Alvin ISD?
I'm like, I think you guys want my blood.
You can bring your kids up. It's okay if they, it really is. Grandma or mother-in-law want to bring them up?
Patrick, you want to come?
Student at Nelson Elementary.
Future student at Nelson Elementary.
Oh, yeah.
From the state of Texas, I, Gabriel Isaac Garza,
I, Gabriel Isaac Garza,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office
that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office
of Alvin ISD Trustee, Position 7
of the Alvin ISD Trustee 7
of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve,
protect,
and defend
and defend
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and of this state.
and of this state.
And I further solemnly swear or affirm
I further solemnly swear
that I will not directly pay, offered, or promise to pay,
that I have not directly paid, offered, or promised to pay,
contributed,
Contributed.
or promised to
or promise,
contribute
or promise to contribute
any money
any money
or valuable thing,
or valuable thing,
or promised any public office
or promise any public
or
office
employment as a reward for giving
as a reward for giving
or withholding
or withholding
a vote
a vote
at the election in which I was elected.
of the election to which I was elected.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you very much.
They made it. Congratulations. Okay, next up, we have Mr. Corey Scott.
No, mine are home doing dual credit.
They're in dual enrollment, so they're working on their homework, he said.
All right, you raise your right hand. For the state of Texas, this is the oath of office. I, Corey Scott,
I, Corey Scott,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully execute the duties
that I will faithfully execute the duties
of the office of Alvin ISD Trustee, Position 2
of the office of Alvin ISD Position 2
of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will, to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution
and defend the Constitution
and the laws of the United States and of this state. And I further solemnly swear or affirm
further solemnly swear or affirm
that I have not directly paid,
that I have not directly paid,
offered, or promised to pay, contributed, or promised to contribute any money or valuable thing, or promised any public office or employment as a reward for giving or withholding a vote at the election which I was elected. So help me God. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Judge Merkel.
Thank you to both of our judges this evening for coming and assisting us.
All right. Next on the agenda, we have the superintendent's report.
Okay, Board, we wrapped up 2024 class of 2024, and without any rain at the graduations, which we were very excited about. So from May 22nd through the 24th, over 2,100 Alvin ISD seniors proudly walked across the stage to receive their diplomas. Congratulations to the amazing students and bright futures for each and every one of them. Our class of 2024 senior walks, this is something we started several years ago where our seniors dress in their caps and gowns and return to their primary schools or elementary schools, and they walk the halls and they get to see teachers that are still there. But I think the most important thing is the students get to see where they will be one day. And so it gives them hope and they get excited to see. Some of them have brothers and sisters there, but it's just an exciting time for staff and for students. Our senior walks are something special that we do treasure. Our Rise Academy celebrated 30 years, and on Friday, May the 17th, past and current Rise Academy students and staff celebrated Rise Up and Burn Blue. So here's to another 30 years. Our Alvin ISD Athletic Department hosted its inaugural Ames Awards. It was honoring athletes from around our district on May the 13th. The nominees were chosen not only for their athletic ability, but for character on and off the field and how well they represented the pillars of Alvin ISD athletics: integrity, servant leadership, commitment, and culture. On top of honoring our students, MC Nate Griffin from Fox 26 News helped the athletics department honor coaches and staff who dedicate their time, even their free time, off the clock to Alvin ISD student athletes. And then we had the wonderful celebration. Our Education Foundation hosts the Academic Excellence Banquet on May the 15th At our Heritage Center, we honored the top 20 grads and their favorite teachers and the top 2 from RISE at our annual Celebration of Academic Excellence dinner. And this is always a great treat because our students pick their favorite teacher, which is always very difficult because they have more than one, but they can only select one, as well as sponsors that attend and parents. So it's a great opportunity to celebrate those students. So lots going on this summer, and we'll wrap another one up and start the 24-25 school year.
Very good. Thank you very much. Next, we'll move on to commendations.
Shrives?
Welcome, everyone. Board, thank you for being here, everyone. We would like to commend some students and staff that have worked very hard, and it paid off for them. So we're going to start with the state track meet. In May, Iowa Colony High School, Shadow Creek High School, and Manville High School track students competed in the state track meet in Austin. Both the girls and boys track and field teams from Iowa Colony were named the 4A state track meet state champions. Woo! Awesome job.
And they're all returning next year.
That's right. That's right. Yes, because we don't have seniors, so that's right. Together, the teams brought home major hardware, 2 golds, 4 silvers, and 4 bronze. Congratulations to the following students. And when I call your name, please come up. And parents, you're welcome to step in the aisle and take pictures if you would like at that point. So we'll start with our gold medal performance. So for the girls, 400 meter, we have Ashton Lewis.
You have to run up here, right? No.
Look at that.
Wow, look
Wow.
at that. That's awesome.
And since she's on the next one, the girls 4x400 meter relay, Arius Williams. Adriana Murphy. Haley Wilturner. And Ashton Lewis as well. And then for silver medal performances, we have girls 4x200 meter relay. We have Bailey Wilturner, Arius Williams, Aisha Mitchell, and Adriana Murray. And for the girls 200 meter, we have Ashton Lewis.
Can I ask them, Ms. Rives, real quick, are y'all juniors, sophomores, freshmen? What are y'all? Junior year? Senior? Senior. Awesome. Wow.
Hey.
So we have a long way to continue this tradition of state. Congratulations, ladies. Thank you. That's awesome. Who is their coach? Who are the coaches?
We are.
Oh, I'm sorry, we're not there yet.
Well, that's okay. It's Andra Long and Rachel Easley. If y'all will come up, and we're going to also call the boys up as well. So we also have, for the boys 4x100 meter, we have Derek Hahn. Aiden Warren. Greg Guidry. And Antoine Martin Jr. And just so y'all know, we did have another meet that they were meeting in College Station, so I'm not sure that
I thought it was
they all
because
made
we
it
were
back.
going to race the guys and the girls tonight, and they didn't
so
show
they didn't
up
show
because they
up.
knew the
Maybe.
girls were going to.
Would smoke them, wouldn't you?
Maybe. Yes.
I'm
Who
just
knows?
teasing, just teasing.
We're also going to add the bronze medal performances for the boys 4x200 meter was Derek Hahn, Antoine Martin Jr., Bejan DePady, and Jeremy Gardner. And then the boys' 800 meter is Ian Hill.
Ian Hill.
Ian Hill. Boys' 200 meter is Jaden Warren. And boys' 100 meter was also Jaden Warren. And then also qualifying for the state meet in Iowa Colony High School are Hannah Young, Cam Jones, Aaliyah Rogers, Mariah Samarco, and Xavier Bellard. And we also had alternates that played an integral part in getting there, but they're not here with us tonight. But I just wanted to let you know. So congratulations to all of you from Iowa Colony. Yeah, if you want to double up and kind of come in front. And the coaches, please come up and join them.
Coach Garza, you want to come up too?
We could get a few of you to step down for a double layer there of photos, maybe. There you go.
There you go.
I like all that metal clinking.
No, that's a great sound, isn't it?
I'm always cold, but it's warm.
Yeah. Recognize you. Congratulations. Do some of these student athletes play multiple sports, dual sports? That's wonderful. Congratulations, guys. That's awesome.
Great job.
So proud of y'all. Wow.
Thank you. You may be
That's awesome.
seated. Thank you.
We would also like to present the board members of the state championship.
Wonderful. Very nice. Very nice.
Thank you.
My son did.
Why, that's nice.
One of many, one of many.
I have a feeling you're going to get more from Iowa
Yes,
Colony.
yes, one of many to
That is
come.
awesome. Thank you
so
all.
much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, next, we would like to congratulate the Shadow Creek High School girls track team for their second place overall finish at the 6A state track and field meet. Congratulations to the following students. Gold medal performance in the 300 hurdles is Mackenzie Collins. Silver medal performance in the 4x100 meter relay is Skylar Moody. Mackenzie Robertson, Layla Hudson, and Mackenzie Collins again. And then in the 4x400 meter relay, we have Mackenzie Collins, Tiffany Mugubai, Layla Hudson, and Madison Thurmond. And then in the bronze medal performance, the 4x200 meter relay, we have Amai Newman, Madison Thurmond, Skylar Moody, and Mackenzie Robertson. And then we have Tiffany Mugubai, also placed sixth in the 800 meter. And also qualifying for the state meet for Shadow Creek High School are Taryn Green and Deja Miller. And the Shadow Creek coach, girls coach is Angel Boyd Thomas. And for Manville High School girls, Jasmine Johnson, Aubrey Riles, Naomi Johnson, and Camilla Woodard. They also qualified for the 5A state track meet and finished 7th in the 4x400 meter. And Manville High School's Christian James finished 8th in the boys 800 meter. And the Manville High School coaches are Marie Ming and Jacob Jeffries. And congratulations to all of these athletes.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Rides.
All right, if they haven't left, if y'all want to leave now, y'all can, kids. All right. Next, we have a couple of presentations, and first will be the Alvin ISD Education Foundation.
So Board, the Alvin ISD Education Foundation is a nonprofit educational corporation organized in 1998 for educational and charitable purposes exclusively for the benefit of Alvin ISD. The memorandum of understanding that the foundation has with the district states, the foundation shall annually provide a cost-benefit evaluation to the district regarding the district's investment in the foundation and the foundation's use of this investment for educational or public purposes. This evaluation shall be presented annually to the Alvin ISD Board of Trustees at a public meeting. So this evening, we have Ms. Laura Lynn Wynn, the foundation president, here to give the presentation.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Lori Lynn Wynn, president of the Alvin ISD Education Foundation, and I have several board members with me. I'd like to take this opportunity to call them up to the front. We'd like to do a check presentation for the board. And as Ms. Nelson, Superintendent Nelson said, as part of the agreement between the foundation and Alvin ISD and the foundation, we will give a cost-benefit evaluation annually to the Board of Trustees. For the past 26 years, the foundation has worked very hard to support the district and to make a difference. We are proud of everything that we have accomplished together. Our goal continues to be supporting the students and staff and the programs of Alvin ISD. We fund innovative teaching grants, campus grants, scholarships, and scholarships for teachers and paraprofessionals that want to continue their education. We support programs big and small, all to make Alvin ISD the best district it can be. You only have to look at the success of Alvin ISD Book Bus, the READY program, the award-winning STEM bus, to see the impact that our partnership makes with the difference. We are very proud to share that this school year, the foundation donated over $345,200 in grants, scholarships, programs, and staff support. So $30,000 went to student scholarships, $46,250 in additional scholarships that we manage, $15,000 in teacher and paraprofessional scholarships, $108,000 in innovative teaching grants. And I'd like to say here that since the inception of the foundation, we have donated over $1.5 million to innovative teaching grants. There's in campus grants, and over $30,000 went to the STEM bus, the book bus, the READY program, and the YET mentoring program. We could have not have done it without the support of the foundation and the district, our business partners, our community, the organizations, and the staff of Alvin ISD. We want to thank the school board for supporting us and Superintendent Nelson for all that you do for us. We are thankful for the partnership we have, and we can't wait to see what the future holds. Thank you very much.
Step up on the step behind it.
I do want to say on behalf of the board and the district, thank y'all for all y'all do.
Yes.
Behind the scene things that y'all do, incredible. Thank y'all for supporting us and our students and our teachers.
And it's a volunteer organization, so these are volunteers that give their time. Yes, so it's a volunteer organization. I think the board has like 27 volunteer members on there, and then there's some advisory board members. But if you want to get involved, you don't have to be on the board to help volunteer. So anyone can jump in. Our campuses do a great job of supporting the events and want to continue that. We have our annual gala coming up September the 6th, so put that on your calendar. And then Turtle Race again and Fun Run will be in February. But our big thing coming up is it's employee campaign, the giving campaign. So that'll be coming up in July, end of July, August. So lots of great things happening. So just stay tuned. Everything will be on the website. And thank you again to all of you who give your time so selflessly to our students and our staff. So thank you to the Education Foundation.
All right, next we have another presentation from the Citizens Advisory Committee, and these people do an outstanding job. Another bunch of volunteers, community volunteers, teachers, all this, and they do an outstanding job to help us board make easier decisions.
So board, you previously adopted the goals and charges and perimeters outlining the facilitation of the Citizen Advisory Committee. This committee was made up of community members that met throughout the spring semester as they worked to finalize their recommendations as requested by the Board of Trustees. This evening, we have members from the Citizen Advisory Committee that they've prepared to provide you with an overview of their work as well as their final recommendations. Ms. Riley?
Good afternoon, or good evening. I mean, I've been at this all day, right? Good evening. Thank you, Board, for having us, letting us to, empowering us as a community, as a committee, to be able to bring recommendations to you as a foundation, and to help with the directive of Alvin ISD and their commitment to students and the community. So, first, my name is Annette Riley. I live right here in Alvin, Texas. I have been able to be a part of this committee. This will be my second one. I was able to co-chair with Travis McGuire, who's also going to speak tonight, Melba, Jared, and Rick Solis. So, very interesting. It's a very interesting committee. It is a very diversified committee. If you ever have the opportunity to participate, please do. And what we're doing today is we'd like to recommend the finalized committee recommendations to the board. Like I said, it's a very diverse group, a cross-section of the community of all regions and campuses. Had representation. The committee included Alvin ISD parents as well as parents of students that have chosen other routes, private schools, to participate. We also have business leaders, community representation from both Alvin Manville Area Chamber, I struggled over that word today, and Pearland Chamber. Multiple elected officials, including the mayors of Alvin, Manville, Pearland, and Iowa Colony. Kudos to the district for the level of transparency throughout the process. Advertisements were run in local newspapers before the start of the committee, and any interested community member that wanted to attend was asked to continue to attend the meetings and be part of the participation. The work of the committee was initiated by action taken by the Board of Trustees. Board members, you adopted the goals and charges and purpose and parameters of the CAC in January. This document guided our work and kept us collectively focused on the key areas outlined in the document. Key points were extensively emphasized. Fiscal soundness, we've talked about that a lot tonight. solutions for aging facilities, new facilities to address growth. And now I will introduce Ms. Melba Irwin to take over.
Good evening. I am Melba Urban, and I do reside in Manville, which is on the west side of the district. I would just, first of all, like to say that I was honored to be a part of this committee. It was very enlightening and very educational for us. And I would like to thank the board, first of all, for being so thoughtful in outlining the role that we had as the committee. Because the charge and outcome were clear, we were able to conduct a thorough analysis of all the critical areas. We listened to many presentations, reviewed extensive data, and we developed a recommendation over the course of the 5 meetings. Did I pass it? Okay, and you can see here where the days that we met. All the meeting dates and materials were posted online. Everything was totally transparent, and I applaud the district for doing that throughout the entire process. As Annette said, it was posted in the local newspapers, and it was on our committee website. The committee was very diverse, as she said, and anyone who wanted to join us, they were added to the committee. So it was not a closed thing. It was open to the public and very transparent to the public. The committee was asked to consider an extensive amount of information as we worked to provide a recommendation to the board. And we were just, at first, just overwhelmed by all of the information that we were given that we had to weed through and go through in order to come up with our recommendation. Here's a list of the topics that we reviewed and discussed that you can see on the screen. And we took an extensive look at each one of these areas. We collectively gained a better understanding of how schools are funded and how they're constructed in our great state of Texas. We received an updated presentation from Zonda Demographics that focused on growth in the district and its impact on school overcrowding. We reviewed extensive information related to the aging facilities assessment and the facility condition indexes. The work by the district prior to our meeting enabled the committee to focus attention on the aging facilities most in need of review and attention. The committee also reviewed the components of a school construction project timeline and the implications timing has on the pricing of projects. As we work to finalize our recommendation, we received details on the financial implications from the district and the district's financial advisor. Okay, the district has more than 2,400 vacant developed lots available. The presentation from Zonda Demographics was of critical importance to the committee. A big part of our charge was to provide a recommendation that addressed the growth and the impact of increasing student enrollment to our district. As you can see, the student enrollment is projected to rise rapidly in the future years, driven by the significant number of residential developments that are actively building. There were 2,400 vacant developed lots with more than 19,000 planned lots. So it's certain that the rapid growth in Alvin ISD will continue for quite some time. These next 2 slides form the basis for our recommendation that are focused on addressing student enrollment growth. The committee noted that we're looking at these charts at the most favorable time, considering that all of the 2018 bond projects are incorporated into the capacity numbers. As we review the details about the conclusion of the 2018 bond projects, congratulations are in order to our district and the board. Despite all of the significant challenges associated with construction, even during COVID, the inflation that followed, Alvin ISD was able to deliver the projects on time and under the total budgeted price of about $15 million. And that's basically unheard of, even in the public realm. That is a huge accomplishment given under these unique circumstances. Based on the capacity information reviewed by the committee, it's clear that to avoid future overcrowding, the district must continue to thoughtfully address enrollment growth at just the right time. These are the elementary school numbers. As you can see in red, the projections of when those schools will be over their capacity. Next, we have the secondary 10-year forecast, which includes the junior high and high school. Much like the elementary slide, the committee was able to identify that the district has done a good job in keeping up with growth. However, to avoid significant overcrowding in the future, we must remain focused on addressing the future overcrowding at the junior high level and provide solutions to assist with capacity issues at our high schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Melba. My name is Rick Solis. I'm a lifelong Brazoria County resident. Although I didn't go to Alvin, I grew up a little bit south of here. I have 3 kids in Alvin ISD. It's actually pretty cool because my daughter was on the Superintendent's committee as a student. She's a student at the high school at Shadow Creek. So I live in Manville now. I've been here since 2005. I've seen the tremendous growth that we're all experiencing here. My area is kind of Manville, Pearland, over there by Costco. But what we looked at, and what I'm going to talk about, is the work that we did that was addressing the growth. The committee was also charged with looking at the best way to address the aging facilities in the district. So it's quite evident that this remains a priority of the district. We are pleased to learn about the detailed planning and budgeting processes that are focused on taking care of the district's facilities. As a community member and a taxpayer, I was extremely pleased to see how the district budgets annually to address capital improvements to ensure that these older campuses don't fall in disrepair. It was encouraging to see how routine maintenance is done through the operational budget annually as opposed to relying on the financial bonds that are put forward. The district's Facility Condition Index, or the FCI, work was very intentional and enabled the committee to gain quick, high-level view of the facilities, and based on the age and the FCI, warranted the committee's further review. The committee identified these facilities and instructed the district to prepare additional resources, data, and even video tours of these facilities that we have listed up here. These are not all the facilities, but the average age of these here is 32 years. What is very intriguing to me is how old Manville High School is, because I remember that thing being built. So time has flown by in the tremendous growth that we're seeing in the area. Next slide, please. So as we looked at these facilities and examined the age of these facilities, these 4 campuses here presented challenges. So regarding Stevenson and Disney, the district has experienced success in consolidating this prior model of a primary elementary split into a single replacement campus. Considering the needs for extensive system upgrades at these campuses, including areas such as the piping, the electrical, the foundation, and much more, it made sense for the committee to recommend a single replacement campus before incurring sizable costs to update these facilities piece by piece and still having 2 old facilities to deal with. Regarding the high school review, we looked at 2 major components. The need for an additional high school capacity to address student enrollment growth. The cost of a new high school is significant and also has significant implications for the maintenance and operation budget. We look for innovative solutions to address capacity while ensuring the instructional equality of all the campuses. The committee identified that the instructional facilities of the new high schools, Iowa Colony and Shadow Creek, are top-notch. Like I said, Manville's been around for a while. Manville High School and Alvin High School are also exceptional campuses, but have a bit more age to them and present some unique challenges. The committee reviewed various aspects of both Alvin and Manville High School and looked for a solution to provide parity with the newer high school campuses while adding the needed number of high school seats that are recommended by the community and the growth that we're going to experience. The committee did an excellent job of coming up with a thoughtful solution that addressed all these areas, that resonated with the committee members and community members across the district, and remained mindful of not only construction costs, but also operational costs at these other campuses. So next we got Jared.
Thanks, Rick. My name is Jared Ruddick. I'm a 22-year homeowner in Alvin ISD School District. Started in the southern areas off of Highway 6, and now I'm up in off 518. And our family's been a 9-year customer of Alvin ISD as well. So before we get into the details around the recommendations, one thing I want to make sure I share is I want to express a appreciation for a new and thoughtful approach on how we generated our pricing data for the projects that we've identified. I've been involved in multiple CACs, and in previous community advisory committees, we had partnered with one approved vendor for the district to go generate our pricing data. And it's yielded good results for us. But for this CAC, it was very different what we had done. We actually invited multiple approved vendors to come talk to us. And we worked with them. They attended all of our CAC meetings. We worked with each of them offline as well to gain input on pricing data, inflationary terms, and other items that would really impact what a good financial projection would be for this. My career, I'm a project management professional. I do capital budgets and capital execution. And this approach is one we employ in industry and one that gives us great confidence to be able to not rely on a single vendor to provide us pricing data. It allows us to gain insight across. An interesting fact, when we were in one of the community advisory committee meetings, there was a fellow member that's a pastor of a local church. They have a family member that's in the school construction industry, not an Alvin ISD vendor in a different part of the state, but they talked between meetings about what are we seeing from a pricing and recommendation standpoint. And the feedback they got from comparisons to other districts is the information we're seeing is aligned with other pricing. So there's no local pricing considerations or anything else like that. It was an informal validation of our findings. So the key piece that this all summarizes to is that, Alvin ISD has a history of excellence and execution of their school construction. We're well below the regional average in a price per square foot for building. I wanted to make sure before we started on this, the community really gathered an insight into the work it takes by our committed staff and by our community advisory committees to generate the results we have. So, from an elementary solutions standpoint, the committee recommends that 2 new elementary schools are constructed to accommodate the projected growth over the next 5 years. And as Rick laid out to us, the replacement campus for the consolidation of the last primary elementary consolidation that we have in the district for Stevenson and Disney, because the pricing for rehabilitation versus the cost benefit for a new campus makes that the clear financially responsible choice for the district. In the junior high space, looking at the growth data that Melba had laid out to us, we felt as a community advisory committee that a single campus to unfold the 5-year projected growth of the district would be the recommendation. So the high school discussion is going to be a bit more nuanced because we have to address multiple factors. One is capacity, overall capacity for growth. The second is to make sure we have instructional equity and facility equity across all of our campuses. And the third is to accommodate the growth in our CTE programs that was spurred and catalyzed by the investment in the J.B. Hensler by the board and by recommendation of the community. So when we talk specifically about Manville High School, the recommendation is the construction of a new academic wing to support growth with more additional classrooms. There'll be some small facility modifications in other areas that are going to be required to accommodate this. For For equity of facilities and to support the growth of our CTE programs, we recommend expansion of our dance, LGI, and also our culinary space in this and other CTE programs to make sure we have good equivalency and we have the necessary support for our CTE. And then the last piece is a recommendation for new entrants similar to Iowa Colony High School that'll also provide a good and formal entrance to the front that will facilitate security, as we'll talk about a little later in a different recommendation. And also some other upgrades for pathways and pedestrian flow for the students on campus. Next is Alvin High School. We have similar goals as a community advisory committee for Alvin High, as we did for Manville. But the solutions here are going to be much more complex because there are some very unique aspects working with a campus that has actually grown through the eras of Alvin ISD. On a macro sense, it summarizes into a few main bullet points. The first one is we want to make sure we consolidate our outlying facilities for our continuing CTE spaces. The Luke Kennedy building and the T building are two older buildings. The recommendation is that we consolidate those into a singular new building that's constructed closer to the main campus. This has benefits of remedying old facilities, but it also increases and benefits us from a security standpoint by making that a closer facility, and also decreases student travel time, especially on rainy days. The second unique aspect that we have is the Marguerite Edwards Auditorium. So we built a replacement auditorium on campus, but that is such a fantastic focal point for the campus that the recommendation was that we allow the Marguerite Edwards Auditorium to now change into a central focal point for the campus. If you've been to the campus, the horseshoe right in front, it's a natural front-facing aspect of that high school. So the recommendation is that we convert the Marguerite Edwards Auditorium into an area that can house the main central campus offices for Alvin High School and also some of the other larger meeting facilities. By doing that, we can take the existing offices and meeting facilities and convert those into learning spaces for classrooms. So it's a cost-effective way to go make sure that we have the right instructional space to handle the increased capacity that we saw in the demographic data. We also need to make some adjustments in the cafeteria. The cafeteria has grown with strain in those areas, and there's an aspect of eating lunch at that campus that can be a little unpleasant on unpleasant days. They take advantage of some of their outdoor seating spaces, but on rainy days it gets a little tough, let's be honest, right? So we want to make sure that we make the necessary accommodations to the cafeteria so that we have good equity of facilities for that space across our district. There's some other smaller investments that will have added infrastructure bonuses around security, around electrical efficiency, and pedestrian pathways to be able to help our students across the campus. The last piece I have to talk about is around security, safety, and land solutions. So as we heard before, and we can all witness when we go to campus, safety and security is something we always prudently address in Alvin ISD, and it's really something that's always been a district priority. And in line with our fiscal responsibility that we have as a district, having the proactive acquisition of school sites while costs are lower only makes sense for a growing district, which our demographics clearly show that we are going to be for the future. So we have about $14.1 million of security upgrades that we're going to recommend. It's spread across an upgrade to our security monitoring equipment district-wide. It's around upgrading the actual front-facing security vestibules for our schools, especially our first-generation vestibules that as our campuses have grown, we've learned the best way to make that most effective for our campus and our students and our staff. And also making sure that we have backup power generators for the last few campus buildings that do not. We've also recommended that we have $12.5 million set aside for that future land acquisition for sites to make sure we're supporting that growth in a financially responsible manner. So last slide I have, I'm going to turn it over for Travis for final closing.
Thank you, Jared. My name's Travis McGuire. I reside in the Pearland portion of the district. I have a proud dad of twin daughters who are sophomores to be at Shadow Creek High School. Started their career in the district, and we were driving down the street the other day, and my daughter said, "Dad, I was really lucky. We're driving by Duke Elementary," and she said, "I got to go to a new school, almost throughout my entire career. It's pretty cool." And she's seen her cousins in Louisiana who haven't fared so well, and so very appreciative to be in a place that does care about students and values that you gotta build the campuses to support the growth. And so it was my pleasure to serve as a co-chair on this committee with Annette, and pleasure to be here with my co-presenters tonight, Melba, Jared, and Rick, and to serve with alongside the nearly 100 committee members, many of which who are in this room. And so raise your hand if you were part of that group. Yeah, so quite a few of us, a lot of familiar faces. Mayor Dan Davis of Manville, appreciate your participation. And in fact, all the area mayors were involved in the process. And so I'm pleased to be bringing these recommendations this evening that I think were very well thought through. They focused on critical needs. We I think, as a committee, stayed on task. We also kept in mind the entire district. And again, I mentioned my family being beneficiaries of the good work that the committees before and the board has done in seeing that these facilities are built and there to support our community. We're ready to pay that forward as that growth spreads further down 288 and across the broad area of the district. So the summary slide here, we'll go to the next slide. I've got it now. Okay, there we go. Shows our bond recommendation summary by the various campuses, coming to a total of $395 million. As Dr. Combs mentioned in his budget presentation earlier, we also have some pretty exciting news that's highlighted there, the savings from the 2018 bond. So, the district staff brought the recommendation to the committee to use those unspent funds to bring down the total cost. And really, in my experience in the business world, pretty unprecedented action there, I would say. I mean, major corporations do it often if they've got unspent funds in their research budget, for example. That gets spent before it runs out, right? Because you might not get it next time. All the way down to family units, right? If we get to the end of the month and we've got extra money in our budget, what do?
Let's go eat.
Let's go eat. Go out to eat. Exactly. That's it. Exactly. So very, very unique situation here, I think. And again, proud to be the beneficiary as a taxpayer of that process. So kudos to the board for valuing that type of transparency. Kudos to the staff for their cost management and delivering these projects under budget, especially as we've heard in a very tough economic times that we've been in the last few years. So summary, we've got a $380 million in change, and the next logical question, of course, is what does that do to our tax rate? So here is the results of that. So the financial team and advisors walked us through a number of scenarios based on the scope of the recommendation, and much to, I think, the committee's surprise and delight, quite frankly. You see here that does project a 2-cent decrease in the tax rate for 2024. But wait, there's more. Also, a 2-cent decrease in 2025 tax year. And so you can see there the impact of the tax rate decrease based on various home values ranging anywhere from a $40 to $120 per year tax decrease. And so to kind of bring it home, I think that, again, it's important to note that this focused squarely on the priorities as they were set out, as the charge was laid out by the board, by you all. There was occasions when, I would sort of drift and say, what about a new admin building? I think that's kind of a natural thing to do when you see a tax rate decrease. You say, well, let's get it to something that stays even. So it would have been, easy for the committee or the staff to say, well, let's add some more in here, and we'll just say no tax change, essentially. But that was not the scope of the group, nor the intent. The intent was to keep focused on the priorities, those critical needs for the next 5 years, and that's what we've done here. Okay, so I've been involved in, I think this will be my fourth CAC committee that I've been involved with. Each one has presented its own set of challenges, and as you can see, or maybe glean from the number of words on this slide, this one is no exception. There is a challenge, and that lies in the fact that the state has mandated certain language go on the ballot proposition, and that's circled down there in the bottom, 6 words. This is a property tax increase. And that is despite what I just went over on the last slide, shown there kind of on the left-hand side, that the data, the financial analysis, the real values on the ground, as we saw earlier in the budget meeting, show, those analyses show that there's going to be a property tax decrease in this situation. However, the state has mandated that language must be on the ballot. So you can read the ballot language there on the right-hand side. It includes all the things that my co-presenters discussed, and one additional line that we did not discuss. And so I'll just say that we'll have our work cut out for this group if the board chooses to call for an election to do some education. But that's no different than the last 3 bond elections that I've personally been involved with. I mentioned those challenges. They came in their own various forms, but we went out, we did education to our community, to the voters, and we were successful in each of those endeavors. And I have no doubt if the board chooses to call an election tonight or in the near future, that we will be successful again. Our committee is ready to get out and do the hard work that it takes to educate our community and make sure that everyone understands the real implications, not only on their tax rate, but on the community, and how important that is to continue to make our Alvin ISD a great place to live and raise a family. So we'll just wrap it up with our final recommendation. Our Citizens Advisory Committee recommends that the Board of Trustees call for a $380,075,298 bond election for the November 5th, 2024 ballot. Thank you.
Thank you, Travis.
A lot of information, a lot of time y'all put into it. Thank y'all very much. Thank y'all
you to the
for
committee.
your recommendation.
Those of you that came this evening, again, volunteers, they didn't pay to do it. They came willingly and gave of their time. So thank you so much to each and every one of you.
All right, we're now in the open forum portion of the meeting, and since no one has signed up, we'll move on to the consent agenda items. Do we have a motion to approve consent agenda items A through H as presented?
So moved.
Trustee Peterson. Do we have a second by Trustee Scott? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. 5-0. Had to count how many was here. All right. Next, we have request to consider approval of budget for fiscal year 2024-2025.
So Board, you had your public hearing this evening by Dr. Combs on the budget, and we also had budget workshop. During the past few months, the board and staff had devoted considerable time and energy to develop the 24-25 budget. Texas Education Code 44.002 requires that a budget must be prepared according to generally accepted accounting principles, rules adopted by the State Board of Education, and adopted policies of the Board of Trustees.
All right, do we have a motion to approve the following 2024-2025 budget positions and included Oh, I'm on the wrong one, I'm sorry. I think I am.
Yes, and including exceeding $75,000.
Okay, and including purchase exceeding 75,000 as presented.
So moved.
Trustee Garza, we have a second. Trustee Peterson, any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next, we have request to consider approval of calling the school district bond election and schedule election dates.
So, Board, you just had a presentation by the Citizen Advisory Committee providing you and outlining their work over the past semester and including recommendations for the Board to consider with regard to a future bond election. The Board is presented with the opportunity to consider calling a bond election for November 5th, 2024 that is purposed to address safety and security, rapid student enrollment growth, and providing instructional comparability among campuses. It should be noted that recent changes to state law require the ballot language to include the statement, quote, "This is a tax rate increase." However, Alvin ISD is confident that should voters approve the election, the Alvin ISD taxpayers would receive a 2-cent reduction in their INS tax rate.
All right, do we have a motion to approve the certificate for order to call an election for the schoolhouse unlimited tax bonds? Trustee Scott, second by Trustee Peterson. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next, we have request to consider approval of property insurance.
Board, last year, we talked a lot about property insurance, and it increased significantly. This year, fortunately, we did not see the drastic increase that we did last year, but there was a slight increase. We went out for RFP for the district's property insurance. The coverage included named windstorm coverage, all other perils coverage, and equipment breakdown coverage. The recommendation to the Board for consideration is Arthur J. Gallagher Risk Management Services for the proposal as presented.
All right, do we have a motion to approve the property insurance as presented?
So moved.
By Trustee Peterson, we have a second by Trustee Scott. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next, we have request to consider approval of purchase and installation of impact-resistant film utilizing TEA Administer Safety and Facility Enhancement Grant.
So, Board, the Texas Administrative Code 19 TAC 61.01031 directs impact-resistant film to be applied to all exterior door glass and adjacent windows at schools if not already impact-resistant or not applicable. The grant funds will be used to accomplish this directive as well as to expand the impact-resistant film application to other school campus glass in the furtherance of safety objectives.
All right, do we have a motion to approve the use of Safe Grant Cycle 2 funds to purchase, install impact-resistant film in the amount of $813,595? By Trustee Scott, second by Trustee Garza. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next, we have request to consider approval of optional flexible school day ADA funding for the options program.
So, Board, at Options, we have students with unique needs, and this extended year plan allows Alvin ISD to provide these students with an alternative solution. The proposed schedule is as follows: Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., Fridays, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. as needed. Also, once approved, we would be allowed to collect ADA funding during these times through TEA's optional flexible school day program.
Do we have a motion to approve 2024-2025 Alvin ISD student optional flexible school day program?
So moved.
Trustee Peterson, we have a second by Trustee Garza. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next, we have request to consider approval of the deployment of personnel.
So, Board, attached are several teachers as well as counselors and diagnosticians, and several different positions that would require a contract. And so we're asking for consideration for employment of all of these employees.
All right, do we have a motion of approval be granted for requested personnel items as presented? By trustee Sweeney, we have a second by trustee Scott. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. All right, now to the good stuff. We have request to consider approval of administrative appointments.
So Board, we still have some openings for administrators. Some of them are assistant principals, and we have one principal. The first one this evening is an elementary assistant principal recommendation, and it's Miss Constance White. She just completed her fifth year as principal of Stewart Elementary School in Hitchcock ISD, where she also served as 4 years as an assistant principal. In addition to Hitchcock ISD, Constance also taught in Pearland for 2 years at Shady Crest, and at Northside Elementary for 4 years, and in Aldine for a year at Spence Elementary. She has over 16 years of experience in education. She received her bachelor's degree in elementary education from Lamar University and her master's in educational administration from Lamar. So the committee and myself are asking for consideration, recommending Ms. Constance White as assistant principal at one of our elementary schools to be determined.
All right, do we have a motion to approve Ms. Constance White as an elementary school assistant principal at site to be determined? By trustee Scott, we have a second. By trustee Garza. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Ms. White, want to stand up? So did you bring family with you? You want to? Mom. Okay. Wonderful. Where's your daughter attend school?
She goes to Meridiana.
Meridiana.
My son is at Iowa College High School. My husband also works at Iowa College.
Here we go.
Very good.
Welcome. Congratulations. Our next recommendation is Ms. Gliselle Lee. She just completed her second year as literacy coach at League City Elementary School in Clear Creek ISD. She served Alvin ISD for 7 years as a teacher at Nelson Elementary. Gliselle also served Clear Creek for 2 years as the adult ESL instructor, 2 years as an assistant principal, and 5 years as a teacher, 1 summer as a summer school principal as well. During her time teaching, she also served 11 years as an adjunct instructor for the School of Education at the University of Houston Clear Lake. Gliselle has over 26 years of experience, 7 of those being here in Alvin ISD. She received her bachelor's in interdisciplinary studies from the University of Houston Clear Lake and her master's in educational administration also from the University of Houston Clear Lake. So I'm asking for consideration for Ms. Lee as an assistant principal at a location to be determined elementary school.
All right, do we have a motion to approve Ms. Gliselle Lee as elementary school assistant principal, location to be determined?
So moved.
By trustee Peterson, do we have a second by trustee Garza? Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Gliselle, stand up. So will you introduce who you brought with you this evening?
I brought them all. My husband Shannon, my daughter Piper, my mom Bertha, my son Parker, and my very good friend Amy and teacher partner Amy Davidson.
Wonderful. Congratulations. Okay, our next assistant principal recommendation is actually for Harvey Junior High, and that is Miss Dia Vasquez. Dia just completed her second year as an assistant principal of McReynolds Middle School in HISD, where she also taught for a year at Elmore Elementary. She has also served Galena Park ISD for a year as a teacher in Galena Park Middle School and 2 years teaching at Normandy Crossing Elementary. She spent her time in North Carolina teaching at Highland Elementary School. Dia has over 8 years of experience in education. Her degree, her bachelor's, was interdisciplinary studies from the University of Houston, and her master's of education in curriculum and instruction and administration from the University of Houston. So recommendation for board's consideration is Ms. Vasquez for assistant principal at Harvey Junior High.
All right, do we have a motion to approve Ms. Dia Vasquez as assistant principal at Harvey Junior High? By trustee Scott, second by trustee Sweeney. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Dia, stand up. Is she, oh, I am so sorry. She is out of town with her
Okay.
family this week, and she said she would arrange to fly back, and we told her no. So we'll introduce you at another time, but she's a great addition. Mr. Teal, congratulations. Okay, our next assistant principal recommendation is for Alvin High School, and this is I call him Coach Strabon, but Mr. Chad Strabon. Chad just completed his second year as an admin intern at ADAPT and Alvin ISD. He previously taught MAP classes for 2 years at Fairview Junior High and spent 9 years at Alvin High School as a teacher, head football coach, assistant athletic director, and junior high liaison. Prior to his time with Alvin ISD, Chad taught and coached at Bel Air High School in Houston. Chad has over 14 years of experience in education, 12 of those being in Alvin ISD. I think he was in Katy as well, correct? Chad received his bachelor's from Texas A&M University and his master's in educational administration from Prairie View A&M University. So I'm asking for consideration for Chad Strabon as assistant principal at Alvin High School.
All right, do we have a motion to approve Coach Chad Strabon as assistant principal at Alvin High School?
So moved.
By trustee Garza, we have a second.
Second.
By trustee Peterson. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Congratulations, Coach. You want to stand up? I'm sorry, once a coach, always a coach. So introduce your guest. Congratulations. Okay, our next recommendation for assistant principal is for Manville High School, and this is Miss Beatrice Parsons. Beatrice currently serves as the campus behavior coordinator at Wessendorf Middle School in Lamar Consolidated. She previously worked for Yes Prep for 2 years, at Northbrook Middle School as director of student support, and 4 years at Northbrook High School as dean of students. Beatrice also served HISD for 2 years as an instructional specialist at Wheatley High School and 6 years as a STEM teacher at James Madison High School. She began her teaching career with Humble ISD at Atascocita High School, where she taught technology for 3 years. Beatrice has over 18 years of experience in education, receiving her bachelor's degree in industrial technology from Alcorn State University and her master's in supervision and administration from the University of Houston. So my recommendation to the board for consideration is Ms. Beatrice Parsons for Manville High School Assistant Principal.
All right, do we have a recommendation to approve Ms. Beatrice Parsons as Manville High School Assistant Principal? By trustee Scott, we have a second. By trustee Sweeney. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Beatrice? Will you introduce your guest, your cheerleader?
Good evening. I'm here with my husband, Roland, and my son, Roland II, we call him Roey, and my manager, Reed Parsons.
Congratulations, welcome. Okay, we have another assistant principal making recommendation for Shadow Creek High School. The recommendation is Miss Lauren Heckler. Lauren just completed her 8th year as math teacher at Shadow Creek High School. During her 8 years at Shadow Creek, Lauren has had the opportunity to lead as an administrative intern, the math department chair, and mentor teacher. In 2023, she was named Shadow Creek Teacher of the Year and also received Alvin ISD's Believes Award. Lauren has over 8 years of experience in education, all of them here in Alvin ISD. She received her bachelor's in math from Sam Houston State University. Do I hear Go Bearcats? And her master's in education administration from Lamar University. So board, it's my recommendation for your consideration for assistant principal for Shadow Creek High School, Miss Lauren Heckler.
Do we have a motion to approve Ms. Lauren Heckler as assistant principal at Shadow Creek High School? By trustee Scott, second. By trustee Peterson. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Lauren? Congratulations. Did you bring guests besides Mr. Rhodes?
My wife Eric, my mom and dad, Judy and John, and my support system, Madeline, Kristen, Tony, and then, of course, my principal, Mr. Rhodes.
Congratulations. Okay, and finally, we have a principal recommendation. So for Savannah Lakes Elementary School, our principal recommendation is Miss Amanda Garcia. Mandy just completed her 3rd year as an assistant principal at Nelson Elementary School in Alvin ISD. She previously served Passmore Elementary for 6 years as a literacy coach and 5 years as a teacher. In 2017-18, she was named Passmore Elementary Teacher of the Year. She has over 14 years of experience in education, all of them here in Alvin ISD. She received her bachelor's in interdisciplinary studies from the University of Houston Clear Lake and her master's in educational management from the University of Houston Clear Lake. So my recommendation to the board for consideration for principal of Savannah Lakes Elementary is Ms. Amanda Garcia.
All right, do we have a motion to approve Miss Amanda Garcia as Savannah Lakes Elementary School Principal? By Trustee Peterson. Second by Trustee Garza. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Andy? Introduce your guest, Mandy.
So you heard them, I go by Mandy, so that was the, I have my Alvin High School alumni crew as well, but I won't say what year everybody graduated. And my parents, Karen and Tommy, my aunt, Rita, who's a retired teacher, and who still tutors today. And, my brother, Marcus, my sister-in-law, Danielle, and my niece, Lorelai, who's going to be a 5th grader at Passmore Elementary. But I didn't bring my son, Aaron, who's going to be a kindergartner with me.
Oh, congratulations, Mandy.
Congratulations, Mandy.
I don't know where Rita's tutoring, but she's trying to steal her, so just heads up, everybody.
Come on back, Rita. And don't forget, stay around because y'all all are going to get pictures
Yes,
taken up here.
pictures afterwards.
All right. At this board will now adjourn into executive session pursuant to the following sections of the Texas Open Meetings Act, Section 551071. So we are going into closed session.
AJ and Miller are just standing there and talking. I'm like, oh no. And they said, yeah, they're like the Transformer boo. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, but he had just came and said, hey, there's a guy. The butt, I saw the butt of the gun. So that's what's on your mind. Yes, and then the guy disappeared. So AJ and Miller thought the guy shot himself. So they.
All right, we're now back in open session.
It wasn't just you.
I was the only one leaving. Tell me on the news what happened.
Do we have a motion to approve the settlement offer as discussed in closed session?
So moved.
By Trustee Peterson, do we have a second by Trustee Garza? Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carried 5-0. All right. Next, we have election of board officers and consider request to continue check writing authorization. So at this time, what we will do is I'll take nominations for each office. We will start with secretary and work our way up to president. And we'll take the nominations, and then we'll do, we will do motions on each office and then move to the next office. So we'll start with secretary, and I'll start it off. I'll make a motion to nominate Trustee Johnson as secretary. Do we have any other nominations? You have a nomination?
No,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right. So with that case, we'll take a vote. Do we have a motion to approve Trustee Johnson as secretary? Have a motion to approve it. Do we have a second?
Who made the motion?
Second
There
by
you go.
Trustee Sweeney.
Who made the motion?
Earl did.
Trustee.
Trustee
No,
Scott.
Oh, okay.
And then
We have
trustee
Trustee Sweeney seconded.
second.
All right. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Trustee Johnson is secretary. All right, we'll move on to the nominations for vice president.
Just question. If Trustee Johnson doesn't want that position,
Then we'll have to come
Redo
back.
We'll come back and
Okay.
we'll have to, at the next meeting, vote. So-
Okay.
Okay, we will go into nominations for vice president. Do we have any nominations for vice president?
make a nomination for Earl Humbird to be vice president.
All right, do we have any other nominations? All right, do we have a motion to approve Earl Humbird as vice president? By Trustee Scott, do we have a second for Earl Humbird? By Trustee Peterson. Any questions or comments? All in favor of Earl Humbird being vice president? All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next, we will move on to president. Do we have a motion for the office of president?
I'd like to nominate Trustee Peterson for president.
All right, do we have any other nominations?
You're welcome.
All right, this time, do we have a motion to approve Trustee Peterson as president?
I'll
By
motion that.
Trustee Garza. Do we have a second? By Trustee Sweeney. Any questions or comments? All in favor of Trustee Peterson being president, raise your hand. All opposed, motion carries 5-0. Welcome, Madam President.
Thank
You and
you.
I will swap spots now.
Well, let me get my cheaters. I don't know if yours are as strong as mine. I do. All right, at this time, I would like to accept a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
I'll second it.
any comments? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passed, meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Congratulations.